Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show. A very unique set of circumstances.
Very unique. Yes, it is 2020, and we're dealing with something that we normally don't have to, but we're being safe today. I know we hyped you guys up last week on a little bit of a change of pace. Well, this is
Not
what
this
we were
week.
talking about. Well, it is a change of pace for us. This is not the change of pace we were talking about, but during amidst this coronavirus 2020 scare, Shaun texted me and said he had a little bit of a runny nose today. And I said, if you come over, I'm not doing the show ever again.
That's right.
Do
So
not bring that
instead,
in
we're
my
gonna
house.
we're
Stay
gonna
away.
err on the side of caution, as
Yeah,
everybody in the world should be doing right now.
right.
If you don't feel good, don't be around other people because we all need to look out for each other. And
Yep.
the sad
Jeez,
reality,
he's sick. Jeez.
there's a reason I'm recording from my own house, Ben. Shut up.
All
I'm in
right.
a basement. I'm
We're
literally
doing a Skype
alone.
call
I
today.
am I am down in the basement alone. I
I
can
can't
cough all
tell.
I
It's
want to.
it's all blurry, Sean. I've never seen such a video from a laptop like this in my life.
Good. Because right over my shoulder right here you would see that it says glorious on my back wall to remind me of why I'm working out.
Wave your hand over it again.
Uh,
Oh, it was showing there for a sec. There it is. I see it a little
it
bit. So,
does.
okay.
So
Uh,
this
But
episode
we're
is just
happy to
going to
be
start
here.
off weird for everybody.
Yeah, so
But
sorry about it, but we're happy to be healthy and safe right now. And if Sean does have COVID-19, at least he's away from me.
that's exactly right. I'm
Right.
staying away from you. I'm staying away from people. I'm being conscious of it. But today is episode what, Ben? 47? I haven't
40,
even looked.
47 today, season 2, episode 10.
And we're going to call it your coronavirus survival kit.
Yep.
Because even in times like this, everybody still needs that positivity for the week.
Oh yeah.
So, and I have a feeling that one day this could, potentially be the future of the BOA show. Who knows what your life will take you to, Ben? What fantastical places you'll end up traveling to.
Well, so far it's going to take me about 10 minutes north to Norton Shores.
That's true, and that's a little bit closer to me, honestly. And
It
with a
is.
good studio setup, it's looking promising for the show anyway. But yeah, I like the fact that we're displaying firsthand for people out there that you can see how well this could work if we start getting guests who step up to the plate and
Yep.
say, "Let me come on the show," because this will work just fine. I don't even think there's any lag between us. I can honestly hear you pretty instantly right now,
Oh yeah, you're matched up with your audio and your video. It's just fine.
right? Yeah, so
So
it's
join
it's
the
a
show.
change of pace.
We've done a couple interviews like this on Skype. So if you want to be on the show, hit us up.
Yeah, and we'll honestly, it'll be a good little test run with this one because we both have microphones right now, so we'll see how clear the audio comes in when you actually drop it into Logic and everything later on.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. But
Excellent.
we always want to start the show the same way we always do. You got to do a little bit of housekeeping first, whether you're
Yep.
on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you click that subscribe button, leave those reviews. I saw recently we've added a couple more 5-star reviews out there, which
Yep.
is beautiful because that's the only way that those different podcast places put it out there is with recommendations from you guys. The more you recommend, the more people see it, the more this show grows, and it's so awesome to watch it grow with you guys. So that doesn't happen if you don't tell people that it's worth paying attention to.
Right.
And if you're on YouTube right now, this looks very weird to you. You've got a split screen shot of me and Ben here. Normally we're in the same room bantering away. Not
Nope.
today.
Nope.
But if you're on YouTube, click that subscribe button down in the lower left-hand corner, please. It's appreciated.
Yep.
Click the notification bell. Oh, there's going to be some of those today. I also don't know if you can hear my dog barking right now.
That's fine.
I told
Let's
you.
let's
She
start
has
with
an
this good
attitude.
news, and it wraps in great to you and I being contained in our basement.
Segregated today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of what the whole episode's going to revolve around today. It's going to be light, it's going to be airy
Yeah.
because, these are times of uncertainty. People just need that little breath of fresh air. It's inevitable that the coronavirus is all that's going to be talked about. It's funny too. Did you see they can't say that on YouTube? Like
Yep.
if you say that, you get demonetized. So like
Yep.
everybody has to work their way around it. It's a good thing we never get monetized anyway. So we have nothing to lose here.
Forget it.
Coronavirus all day, baby.
Coronavirus 2020.
we're
What
gonna
up?
be we're gonna be the only ones who are saying it because we don't get monetized anyhow. But yeah, I mean, so much of the media around it is negative, and that's where most of the influence comes from the different social media and everything else that you see. So we want to bring you a little bit of hope today. We're just going to talk a little bit more about the light things, little things you can do for your community, little things other people are doing. Maybe some stories that we've heard throughout the course, because it's naturally the only coverage that you hear on TV right now is
Right.
the fact that, in one way or another, this is affected or this is affected. But I was just talking to a buddy, Ian Blanding, whose birthday it is today. So I wished him a happy birthday. We're recording this on Sunday, the day before it releases. So happy birthday, Ian, out there. But I was telling him that, of course, this is crazy. Of course, there are a lot of bad things going on right now, but there are a lot of good stories out there, too. It's just they don't get the same coverage that the negative things do, because the craziness at Myers over the toilet paper and that kind of bullshit is far more interesting to most people to watch from home than the guy. The multiple NBA players who are donating out of pocket to pay salaries of people who are losing time right now during the shutdown, or
Right.
Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, and also from Shark Tank, as people probably know him more formally. But him finding ways to pay his employees all of their salaries for while the NBA is shut down, and going out of their way to do things like that. And those are the stories that don't get enough coverage. And so we'll try and highlight a lot more of those things today. So
Right.
we're going to start off with a specific story that we've got, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of this episode might just end up being random good news anyway, and just talking about those different stories.
I've got good news.
What's your good news, Ben?
Uh, an offer that I made on the house got accepted on Saturday.
Oh,
So yeah, we were talking about it a little bit last week, and it looks like if a house inspection comes back and everything's clean, I will be living right next to Sean, about 5, 10 minutes away, in my
right
own
near the
place.
old homestead. So he has a
Yeah,
nice little
yeah.
dive bar that he can get his bush lattes at.
I'm looking at underground fencing right now to get ready for a dog. If I do get a nice, beautiful golden retriever pup, she would be glorious. Her name would be Victoria, and she would be wonderful. Um,
Victoria.
oh yeah,
What makes you say that?
I love that name.
Okay. It's just like you've had a dream.
It's between that and Elizabeth.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like those kinds of names. The old English female names. They're like
Those are
what?
definitely like people names for dogs.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if I had a male, I always wanted a male bulldog. I would have called him Dave. And hey, gotta go pick up Dave. I gotta go home and feed Dave. People are like, who the hell's Dave, right? No, but I really like Victoria. Call her Tori. It'd be great. We'll see. But we're talking way in the future. Got to have a home inspection. It'll be all good. And good news, it was my grandparents' 60th anniversary last night. We had dinner. That's a great thing to, be thankful for. That I've got both of my grandparents. They've lived a happy, healthy life. 60 years married. That's some great news.
That is
Um,
fantastic news,
yeah.
and you are loaded with it today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful and 55 degrees and sunny outside today. Finally, Michigan is doing what I asked it to. We had a light winter. Sean and I are still able to do the podcast thanks to technology, even though he's
Yep.
not here. We got great mics. I can see Sean barely. I mean, he's
It is
speckled here,
pretty
but it's all
grainy.
good.
I know that
It's really nice.
Ben's
So,
computer is clearly outshining mine right now because he's coming in crystal clear on my
yeah.
end.
I also got a few new clients that were going to allow me to do digital transfer for them, so I'll be running that for some side money. I'm working with an interior designer I used to work with for photos, and she's going to help me design the house so that I get like my style dialed in before I start buying smorgasbord stuff from garage sales and whatnot, so that I can keep it clean and a nice looking bachelor pad. And I now feel confident pulling up carpet and refinishing wood floors. So I got a lot of good news this weekend, and I'm just keeping it going.
Hell yeah, and I'm looking forward to helping you with some of those home projects so I can learn how to do those things too.
the big thing is helping me reshingle my shed. So we'll talk about
Right.
that off camera sometime here soon. So
That's right.
yeah. What
But
kind
the
of good
good
news you got
news
going, Sean?
that we're going to focus on first today
Let's
comes
want to jump
from,
right in. We don't even hear
yeah.
from you. You don't have any good news?
My good news is that I'm still feeling good. I did have the runny nose. I do have a little bit of that dry cough, which is what has put me into like self quarantine for a little bit.
You sound a little stuffy.
Yep, I definitely want to take, like I said, the proper precautions and see where it turns into. I also do get seasonal allergies, which could very, just as easily be what's happening right now.
Right.
But with everything going on, I'd rather be safe than sorry,
Yep.
especially because it's like I said at the very beginning. I know I would be fine. I know that I have a healthy immune system that I can push through. I can fight, but there are a lot of people out there with compromised immune systems or the elderly who can't fight that back as well as I
Right.
can. So for
Right.
their sake, I want to take those precautions. But today's good news comes to us from the Inquirer, not generally a source of good news from us. So it's a change of pace from there too. But
Well,
uh,
it is the Philadelphia Inquirer. It is not the National Enquirer,
Oh, that
whatever.
is definitely the
Yeah.
huge difference
Yeah.
because I was going to say that's tabloid shit,
It's
isn't it?
not going to talk about like Bat Boy or anything like that. This is the Philadelphia Inquirer, people.
I've
So
spent a lot of time at the grocery store checkout lines lately, so the National Enquirer is just stuck in my brain right
I
now.
like the National Enquirer. Like it's not something I go to for news, but it's fun. Give it a shot sometime.
Yeah, but this is at
This one's
least
great.
a nice piece out of it. In
Yeah.
times of tragedy and disaster, we need comfort. Welcome coronavirus acts of kindness. In Philadelphia, at the Roxborough Acme, lines wrapped around the aisles as anxious customers waited to check out full carts of groceries, and then they agreed that an elderly shopper should go ahead of them. In Wayne, a fellow mom insisted that Anne St. Ledger take one of the two bottles of sanitizer she had for her family of seven. St. Ledger's daughter had been scheduled for surgery and she wanted to replenish her bottles at home to keep her healthy, but every store she checked was out.
And in Chad's Ford 70, oh, I tried to decline because she was a large family to keep healthy, St. Ledger said, but she wouldn't take no for an answer. And in Chad's Ford, 73-year-old Betsy Del Vecchio opened her door to see her next door neighbor, Lee Cullen, grinning outside.
Hello, vulnerable person, Cullen said, referring to the increased threat of coronavirus for older adults. Del Vecchio smiled, delighted
Vecchio.
by Vecchio. Del Vecchio smiled, delighted by the Irish brogue that made Cullen's greeting more charming than alarming. Look, this is getting really, really, really scary, Cullen, a father of two, told her. If you need any groceries or anything at all, you tell us. Stay home and stay safe. The neighbors in Del Vecchio's cul-de-sac, most of whom are from countries like Ecuador, Brazil, Bulgaria, and Ireland, are already pretty tight knit, but this added check-in touched the recent widow.
How wonderful, Del Vecchio thought. When I caught up to Cullen, a tax advisor who was home with his family, he said his mother, um, who passed away from a respiratory illness right before they moved to the States from Ireland about a year ago, always told him, "You can just be kind for the sake of being kind."
We'd say that all the time on here.
It's certainly true, but in times of crisis, acts of kindness weigh that much more. In the midst of a disaster or tragedy, or now the coronavirus pandemic, it's often the smallest act of kindness that gives us the most hope.
These stories are a glimmer of hope. We, the people, acting out of better natures. And then it goes on. On Twitter, Rebecca Myra from Oregon shared her story in a viral thread. Myra was walking into a grocery store when an elderly woman called to her from a car. From a window open just enough for her to hear, the woman explained that she and her husband in their 80s were afraid to go in. Would Mara shop for them? She asked, slipping money through the crack in the window. She did. I know it's a time of hysteria and nerves, Mara wrote, but offer help to anyone you can.
On Facebook, Pam McNerney, full disclosure, she's a former editor of mine from Connecticut, the author,
Mhm.
shared that a woman in her row on a plane was sharing her Clorox wipes. "We're all in this together," McNerney reported the woman as saying. In posts all over social media, People are encouraging one another to be kind and generous to those on the front lines, doctors and nurses, bus drivers and wait staff who don't have the luxury of staying home. Richard Ross, formerly of Cherry Hill but now living in Florida, told me that he's trying to do his part by going to his local Chinese restaurant more and leaving a big tip. A lot of businesses and organizations, large and small, are trying to do their part too. The Jewish Family and Children's Services of Greater Philadelphia is providing emergency supplies to its most vulnerable clients. A market in Connecticut is closed, but its self serve eggs cooler is stocked with cartons and a sign for folks to pay with what you wish. Stay healthy, it says. Uh, La Colombe is offered to send coffee to both the elderly and sick who are struggling with self quarantine or healthcare professionals working around the clock. At a time of so much fear and uncertainty, these acts of kindness, for those committing and receiving them, are a desperately needed balm, a unifying act of humanity that reminds us we are all in this together, and together is the only way we will get through it.
And that is so, so, so true.
Whether you think the coronavirus is as big of an outbreak as the media's, portraying, or whether you think it's a hoax, or whether you are very nervous and scared and you're afraid to go to work and you're afraid to go pick up your groceries, um, it is a pandemic that's happening right now, and you are entitled to whatever opinion that you have. But just
Right.
remember, like for people like me, I'm not too afraid myself. What I'm afraid for is my grandparents,
Right.
or expecting mothers, for people with respiratory issues already, people who are smokers who have maybe not the best immune system, people who are going through surgeries, people who have, life doesn't stop. There's a lot of people who are going through big things in life right now, and it's not like they just stop because the economy is saying, oh, everybody stay home. What do?
Right. Yeah, you
Okay.
got to make money. I mean,
you know
the end all be all of it too is that at the end of the day your bills are still going to be due,
yeah.
and that's what people are scared of because, if it comes push or shove, your credit might tank if you miss a couple of those bill payments, and it's like, what am I supposed to do, But
Well, I just heard on NPR they were talking about people out in Seattle who go to prenatal yoga, and their babies are not going to wait for coronavirus to, go away before they're born, and this is something that's very important. Um, and these moms were terrified to go, but a lot of them are still trying to go and do what they need to prepare for the birth of their child. And they're just talking about, in that situation, how difficult it can be when you know what you need to do and you can follow all the books, but in such a state right now where we're in coronavirus, everything's thrown up in the air, and it really comes down to there's no plan, there's no rubric, there's no step-by-step guide on how to deal with this. You have to assess, look around you, and take what you have in your own brain and heart and go forward and make the steps you think are necessary. And I just feel so strongly that it's very easy for me to deal with this, but there's a lot of people out there going through a lot more than I am trying to combat this virus, or people with other concerns other than I have. And small acts of kindness. I'm going to pick up some groceries for my grandparents later today. Just do what you can to keep those that are in a higher risk, help them out. It's a
right.
perfect time to help out where you can.
Yeah. And I saw somewhere, I think it was on Twitter, where they said it would be wonderful if we can look back on this in 6 months and say a lot of it was an overreaction and everything else. And that would just speak to the low number of deaths that we could prevent in this country with the things that we're doing right now, with avoiding large gatherings, with using hand sanitizer and washing your hands more. If you feel that cough coming on, or you feel a cold, or you're running a fever, take that time off. And as hard as it might be, let's rally together and figure that out after the fact, because the truth is that right now there are all things that we can do to make this better on each other. And the long term, I do have faith in humanity that we're not just going to leave you out in the cold. If you're someone who's missing bills, I already have, I got an email a week ago from Capital One for a credit card, and they were like, if you're at all struggling, don't just ignore us. Seriously, reach out. Just contact us and let us know. If you need a month off from your payment, we'll work with you on those kind of things. But don't just try and ignore it and have it go away. So even seeing like financial institutions like that getting out in front of it, like, hey, we can help. We're not just going to throw the book at you if you miss a payment, but just reach out and talk to us. You don't have to think that you're just going it alone. And more and more of those resources popping up, more and more, like we talked about, people donating to people who are losing out on salaries because of the impact through all the sports world. Ian Thompson was a guest on here, a month and a half ago. South by Southwest was entirely canceled. He spent the first 3 months of this year busting his ass on a project that got totally wiped off of existence, and how many artists work all year round to try and get their art into that exhibit. You know what I mean? That's one of the coolest ways that an artist can display themselves, and to have that taken away just is like, look at the severity of it. I know that like the impact locally sucks, but it'll be so much better if we do just look out for each other now, and we keep it from blowing into something where 40 to 70% of the population is dealing with this, instead of where we're at right now, where they are incredibly low numbers. The people who get it are able to recover for the most part. Deaths are low in this country right now. And if we all work towards it, we can do our part to keep it that way. But
I think we all need to work to keep it that way. You and I are sitting here touching our faces and all this sort of stuff, but just do what you can to keep yourself and others safe. That's what it's all about right now.
I'm touching my face, but I'm also alone. So
We're trying to keep you from getting coronavirus by not touching your face, Shaun.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'm here and quarantined, self-imposed, because I'm worried about it already. So what's touching my face?
Yeah, and they say dogs are safe. So.
Oh, good. Shotzi's okay upstairs.
Yeah, you'll be just fine. Just be careful. Keep Margie healthy.
That's right. And you got to worry, the thing that does suck is if you're down for like 2 weeks, getting groceries or something like that really would suck, where I don't even know, is Shipt running right now, like the delivery service for groceries?
I believe Shipt is still going currently as of today. I was going to bring that up. But just think about it too. Like if you're very weigh the pros and the cons here too, because
making someone else go out, yeah,
exactly. Like I have been that guy where it's been such a blizzard, I'm afraid to go get food and I'm hungry, so I call this delivery guy who's got a Pontiac Grand Dam, a 16-year-old driving in a freaking blizzard to bring me a pizza because I'm too, be gentle. And if you don't need Shipt, maybe just don't use it right now. If you do need it, then use it.
Right.
Just make sure that you're not overdoing protecting yourself when there are other people who may need it a little bit more than you. And I'm not saying I don't know anybody's position, but this is not a time to be greedy, people. This is a time to be caring and looking out for each other.
Yep. And that's a big reason of why it's like, if I got to stay home and I've got to go through this, I would rather do that. And I would rather isolate myself and work through it and be sure that I'm not dealing with any kind of virus before I go back out into the general public, because, nothing is worth that for the people around me, for the grandparents that I love, for my mom and dad. How would I feel if either of them got it? They're getting up there in age, and battling those kind of things gets tougher and tougher.
Right.
And so I always try to think of everybody in that respect. Like, what if it was my grandparents? What if it was my family? What if that was my best friend? And when you give people that kind of courtesy, it makes a good impact on them, and it'll always leave a good impact on you as well.
Right.
Well, what do you think? Should we jump into that video? So I love that
this is a good one. Yeah. You picked a good one for today, for sure. From a guy that everybody should know. And if you don't know him, you got to listen to Les Brown. He's one of the world's most renowned motivational speakers. Shaun, tell us a little bit more about him. I know you're a big advocate.
Oh, yeah, I am a huge fan. All of his videos are just hype as hell. He's a big believer in, like, the believe in yourself and that you have more potential inside you than you think you're capable of. And
he's been in a lot of the videos that we've shared. A lot of the voiceovers that you'll hear when we've got different speakers. Yeah, he will be in the videos. So this one is directly from him. He just posted it 16 hours ago on his own personal Facebook.
Yep. So if you don't follow him, Les Brown on Facebook, hopefully we'll be able to tag him in this in the Facebook post on
Yep.
Monday. Give him his credit where credit is due because he is a fantastic motivational speaker straight from his mouth. It's about faith over fear, which is something that we've focused on before, but it's the fact that, right now a majority of the things that you see are fear based. It's the majority of the things that you see are negative based, and they're there to, yes, some of them are there for information's sake, and some of it is good things. We got to have this news. Does it suck watching coronavirus cases grow and grow? Absolutely. Does it suck watching death tolls rise? Absolutely. But these are things that we do need. You need to be an informed member of society. You can't just tuck your head in the sand and ignore it. But at the same time, there are those good people out there. There are these good messages that we've talked about a lot today. There are these things that are going on that can help get you through. And there are a lot of good people doing good things for each other. So let's not forget about them, because ultimately those are everything that matter in this world, are those positives. So let's keep those in the forefront of our mind and let Les Brown spell it a little more eloquently than I just did.
I think that sounds like a good idea. Let's give it a listen.
I remember a quote by Winston Churchill who said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." We're living in such a time where we have to really be mindful of not allowing ourselves to be governed by fear. The media has literally polluted our minds with thoughts that's creating anxiety and stress and hopelessness and fear. Fear. Zig Ziglar called it false evidence appearing real. Paul said, "That which I feared most came upon me." And it's contagious. But so is faith. Faith, finding answers in the hard. When we look at all the stuff that's going on, the coronavirus, with all of the different messages coming down the pike through radio, through the internet, through the administration, this is a time where you have to begin to get still, to be still and know that whenever we feel that we're in over our heads, that what's over our head is under God's feet. Be still and know that we're never alone. He said, "I'll never leave you nor forsake you." Be still and know that there's no reason for us to give up being who we are and being driven by fear, but to begin to step into a mindset of knowing that we are more than able, that greater is He that's in us than he that's in the world. And so as you go through your daily practice of just living your life, be mindful. Wash your hands. Don't touch your mouth or your eyes. But don't allow yourself to be infected by fear. And you have to really do this consciously. You have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to live your life from the inside out rather than from the outside in. Faith. Faith is an oil that takes the friction out of living. Faith. This is a time we need people of faith, messengers of hope. Faith. We know that it's contagious. Let's spread it. Faith. We all need it, now more than ever before. You have something special. You have greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I told you would enjoy that.
That was a good one. I think it's really nice seeing just a personal video from Les as well. I mean, it looks like he's just hanging out at home.
Right? It's kind of like we're doing right now.
Right,
That's how it
exactly.
looks.
I've seen a lot of videos of Les talking to big crowds on stage and this is just a more intimate, personal video from Les, giving us what's off the top of his head. And I think
Right.
that's super important nowadays. Everybody's plans are thrown off right now. We're all living day by day. And he says, okay, this is a good time. I'm going to get on my phone. I'm going to upload a video and say what I think I need to say. So it was
Yep.
a much more intimate video of less than I've ever seen. So
Right. And it's nice to get that personal feel from these guys who, like you said, a lot of times they're speaking to tens of thousands of people. When he's making a video like this, it's a lot easier to be like, oh, he's just in the room with me and we're chatting, you know?
right, exactly. Yeah, I love what he said. In the middle of it, he said, "Have some faith. It's contagious, but just be mindful."
Right.
And I think that's one thing that we need to talk about in general, is because if you think about it, everything's contagious. He's talking about the way we think, what we see in the media, what we're all talking about day to day with our coworkers and our friends and our family. Everything's contagious, extremely contagious. And I think that goes with negativity as well. To bring
Right.
it to bring it outside of the coronavirus, everything we think about, talk about, and see every day is it's all contagious. So let's be a little bit more contagious with our positivity, and
That's
let's talk
right.
about that more often. Let's talk about that with our friends and family. Let's bring that up in the media. That's what we're trying to do, is be a little bit another outlet for you to hear more positivity, and hopefully that is contagious and gets you into other forms of positivity throughout your week.
Exactly. Yeah, those messages are there, but finding them can be tough. So just don't stop looking is the point here. You know, that um you put the faith into the fact that we as humans will overcome this, that science will find a way to combat it, that tests will become more readily available, that our doctors and nurses and paramedics and all emergency staff are capable of handling this. And if we all act accordingly and we remain calm and we remain unified, we can get through this, and we can get through it without it shifting our lives as dramatically as it already has. Where like we're living in unprecedented times. I saw a post the other day where it said it's weird to think that this is something that will be talked about in history books 20 years from now. It's the first time ever the world has come to a standstill like this. And
Globally.
exactly, we're
Yeah, I mean,
seeing
we
this.
had the Spanish flu, we had the Black Plague and all this, but in our era, in our generation, this is the first time that the world has pumped the brakes and said, "Look, this is an international pandemic we need
Yep.
to address." And
Yep.
every country is doing it a little bit differently, but this is groundbreaking.
It is, and it's the first time that the coronavirus doesn't care if you're Muslim or if you're Christian or if you're from Russia or you're from Asia or you're from Europe or Africa or South America or North America. It's going after everybody.
Yeah.
And this is one of those moments in history where we have two paths in front of us, and we've got a chance to take it one way or the other. And that it's our natural human instinct to divide and to focus on the differences, and
Yeah.
let's make this political, and let's turn this into that, and people hating on Trump for his lack of response, and people in the right saying the people on the left are blowing it out of proportion
Right.
because they're trying to downplay Trump and to ruin his presidency right before an election. And it's so political. The other way that we could take it, and there's that human side of me that just wants it so bad to say that, like, we could come together on this. We could solve this as a world. We could, for the first time ever, truly say that it doesn't matter if you're American or Russian or English or Irish, you're a member of the human race. And we came together to do this because it was a plague that was hitting the world, and it took the world to fix it,
Yeah.
and I have that faith that we can get there. I have that faith that we could do it together. Will we? Whole different story. You see people throwing punches over toilet paper is not
Yeah.
exactly a civil utopia, and so could we get there? Absolutely, because I have faith in science. I have faith in the people who make these decisions. I have faith in doctors at their core. Do I have a lot of issues with the pharmaceutical industry? Hell yeah. But can the doctors and scientists at their roots, pull us out of some terrible situations? Absolutely they can, because I believe in our brilliance. I believe in what humans are capable of, and I believe that we can do so much because we show it on a consistent basis when our backs are against the wall.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like at the very beginning of the episode, I'm like, there's so many people. I don't care what you believe, whether you think this is a global pandemic and it's very scary, or whether you think it's all a hoax. It doesn't matter. Just
Yep.
spread the kindness. Don't be a dick.
Yep.
And just think of other people first. If you're not freaking out over your toilet paper and you're getting a little bit frustrated that you can't find any, just give people the benefit of the doubt. You can think they're kind of stupid for stocking up on toilet paper and not food. That's fine, whatever. But just don't be upset with people for taking the steps that they feel are
Right.
necessary.
That is something that cracked me up. I was at the grocery store, like, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 days ago now at this point. It was just after, like, the panic had started.
Right.
There was no toilet paper there at all, but I turned around and there was just an endless supply of Kleenex. And I was like, wait a minute, this is like rich person toilet paper right here.
Exactly.
It's individually packaged. You got one at a time.
Oh.
They're aloe. Do you know how good that feels on your bum? Pretty
I've never
good.
tried it, but I'll take your word for it. It sounds like you've had the struggle of wiping with
Thank you,
Kleenex.
toilet paper shortage.
How about you get a nice roll of paper towel and you cut that son of a bitch in half?
Ooh, paper towel is rough.
There you got
dude.
2 rolls of
That is
towel. You get some good Viva.
okay. I've never had like soft paper towel. I've
never had phenomenal toilet paper, so
it's called Kleenex.
No, I guess, but that's a little thin. I don't want to. Well,
You know what? I think I almost just did Ben's tip of the day for you.
Oh yeah.
Toilet paper shortage, Kleenex.
I was saying toilet paper shortage. Cut some paper towel in half.
Oh God, there you go. Ben's tip versus Shaun's tip. Let's have the public weigh in. Which tip serves you better today? Do you want to wipe with brittle toilet paper that carves you a new asshole?
You mean paper towel? And it doesn't have to be brittle. It can be good, better stuff, but it's in stock. So
I guess that's true.
Or you can go with some really light Kleenex that you accidentally catch yourself with a surprise.
Right?
I like how your mic cuts out the
I muted it. I have the little switch down here, so I have now fixed our problem if I have to cough.
For those of you on YouTube who just saw Shaun dying for a moment,
I was sucking an invisible dick there.
Oh, God. But in the middle of that, too, still talking about less, he quoted Zig Ziglar when he said, that which I feared most has come upon me. And I feel like that is so true if you think about even
dwell
our
on
daily
the
life.
fear and you attract it to yourself, and
the law of attraction in a couple different ways we've talked about it. But outside of COVID-19 and the coronavirus, if you just think about the things that you are so afraid of, like I have anxiety in my past, right? So I'm always thinking about things that could happen, and then they end up not happening oftentimes, like as bad as I expected them to.
Right.
And it's that anxiety, and always what you fear most, you are creating it. So my anxiety, I was always creating an anxious situation that in turn never ended up happening oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, with this coronavirus, I'm not saying you should not be prepared and you should not prep, but I'm saying if you're always planning for the worst, hope for the best. Don't plan for the worst and expect the worst, because then you're just going to get yourself into a hole where eventually it may not happen. Plan for it, but don't expect it necessarily. Be a little optimistic here. Be positive. Try to be positive.
My mom always used to say when I was young, pray for peace, prepare for war. Mm-hmm. And I've always kept that mantra at heart, that you can hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. I also like the term precautious, not panicked, you know, and that's the huge difference.
Great example.
Yeah, you can definitely be prepared. You can plan for things. You can wash your hands better. I can't believe that we have to say that in 2020, that people aren't just washing their hands like this all the time, but okay, do it now.
I haven't washed my hands since 1998, so.
If you have hand sanitizer, it does work, not necessarily like the Bath and Body Works that's 98% glitter and 2% alcohol.
Those are my favorite, Shaun.
The meme making its rounds of it was like the coronavirus rubbing his hands because it knows how terrible that hand sanitizer is.
Truly, honestly.
That is the one thing, though, that I will give coronavirus credit for, is that the meme game has stepped up tremendously with a lot of people sitting at home bored.
I saw a beautiful meme that had what's his name? Whatever from Scooby Doo, the main guy with the ascot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Freddy something. And they're like, let's find out who this coronavirus truly is. And they pull the mask off this villain, and it's the Charmin bear.
Since toilet paper is the only thing that's cleaned out.
Let's see who's behind this coronavirus, COVID-19, shall we?
That's right.
But yes, it's been. Let's not be brushing it off as though it's nothing. At least that's my personal opinion. But let's also not start nailing boards up on our window too soon. Be smart, be kind, just be prepared.
Yep.
But don't be a dick. There's a lot of people who need your help, and we can easily offer it to them. Go buy groceries for somebody who's a little bit older that you're worried about if you have the opportunity. Help people out. Maybe instead of buying 300 packs of toilet paper, you buy 200 and give 100 to another person. Please, for the love of God. We're going to have... Can you imagine somebody right now, basement stocked full of toilet paper? In a couple of months, if things just blow over, what the hell are they going to think?
Right. It's a good thing the back of this is blurred out, because you would see my mounds of toilet paper.
Oh, come on, Shaun. What are you so worried about? Wipe your hand.
I'm totally kidding.
No.
I am strongly considering investing in a bidet, though, after this.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Call it what it is, but they're dirt cheap, and that's the way the rest of the world does it.
That's right.
Well, some of the rest of the world.
The ones who aren't savages, that is.
Well, I don't know. That's getting risky. Or people who can't afford it.
That's true.
Okay.
It is like a good $50 attachment to the toilet.
Right.
It is.
We're backing out of this. Let's get back out of there. Let's get out of there.
Yeah, you know what's easy to roll into, though? Because life is about the smiles, Ben.
It is. How about it? I got a great one for us today, Shaun.
I don't know if this is at all coronavirus related.
It's not at all.
Good. So it's totally unique to that.
Completely separate from the coronavirus. It should be a good laugh that has nothing to do with our current situation. This one comes from Dave Stone on the Laugh Factory. It's called Fat Vegetarian. And it's a really good one. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Give it a listen.
I'm actually going to go watch this.
It's a good one.
Hey, real quick, anybody ever calling sick to work because you ate too much at breakfast? No? I'm the weirdo. All right. Your excuse should never include the word bacon. That's all. Your boss don't want to hear that. Myself, I'm a pretty adventurous eater. You don't get this physique without taking a few chances. I will eat anything. Just try me. Used to, not so much. I was a vegetarian for the past 3 years until recently. That's not a joke. I know it looks like a joke. Yeah, I'm aware. Fat vegetarian. Good job, idiot. They kicked me out of the club. They're like, dude, this is bad PR. They didn't need me wandering the streets. Go veg! I did. I didn't read the pamphlet properly. I don't know what happened. I tried it because I thought I could lose some weight, and for 3 years I ate nothing but rice and tofu and veggies and cupcakes and donuts and fried pies and fried cheese and cream cheese and mayonnaise sandwiches, and I couldn't lose any weight, guys. It's a stupid diet. I don't recommend it. I gave all that up, though. I'm back on the meat train. I'm a born-again carnivore. Yeah. Now I'm eating meat with a vengeance. Just honey-baked hams, live rabbits, whatever. Just put it in my face and back off. I'm in my rotisserie chicken phase right now. Nothing more satisfying than sitting down eating a whole chicken. I don't know if you've tried that. Look into it. Pretty exhilarating. Very productive way to eat. You sit down and eat a whole chicken, even if you do nothing else for the rest of the day. You're like, shit, I ate a whole chicken. I'm done. Clocking out. Call it a day. How many chickens do you eat? Shut up. I'm doing something. I do this weird thing now. I don't know why I do it, but when I'm done with the chicken, I don't take the bones and put them in the trash. I'll gather up the bones and throw them out in my backyard. Just like, get out of here, chicken. Get out there where you belong. I don't know why I do it. I think it's like a weird subliminal warning to any nearby animals. Just to let them know what I'm capable of. Now, you guys see what happened over here? All right, squirrel, I'm watching you. Don't mess with me.
I told you it was a good one, didn't I, Shaun?
Dave Stone from the Laugh Factory. I definitely just laughed a lot.
It's funny, too, because I've thought about it occasionally being like, you know what? Like, I'm a hunter and a fisherman. And for some reason, it has crossed my mind before, maybe I should be vegetarian. Even though, like, I know I shouldn't. Like, or at least it doesn't fit me.
Right.
But it's funny because he's like, I must have read the pamphlet wrong. It's a terrible diet. I haven't lost any weight. Eating mayonnaise sandwiches.
Born again carnivore. I'm not the I didn't read the pamphlet.
I thought it was great. I just thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Dave Stone, The Laugh Factory, absolutely wonderful. Check it out.
Yep.
So.
It's been a good day today, Ben.
It's been a very unique episode today, having us not in the same room, but I think it has flowed quite well, and we got some stuff out there, and we just hope everybody's out there doing
the best you can.
Do the best you can. Be kind to those who you can be kind to, and just do what you can.
That's right.
Day by day. Right now, when this kind of thing is happening, it's a day by day situation. Just like we like to live our lives with positivity. Every day is a struggle. Every day is a challenge. For people who are in the best place in their lives and people who aren't, it's every day is a new challenge. Take it day by day, just like we're doing with the COVID-19.
That's right. And I have, through the abundance of negativity that you see out there, I may take a social media hiatus for a little bit here. But what I'm not going to stop doing is posting good news articles and stuff like that to the BOWA show. Whenever I find something from like Reddit or anything else, I always throw it up there. So I'm going to continue to at least post those to the BOWA show. So if you do need good news outlets, make sure you've liked the BOWA show podcast on Facebook. You'll always be at least having one source of smiles or good news articles, little things like that help you get through the week. And make sure that you find those sources elsewhere for yourself too. Right. We're not the only outlet out there. There are a lot of good places that you can go and find these, and I hope that you do, because in these kind of times you need to overflow your bank with good deposits, because all the negative ones are definitely going to pile up. So don't let them pile up too high on you, and I hope that you can enjoy this week to the best of your ability, because if you haven't heard it from anybody else, at least you can hear it from us. We love you. You're awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this show today. Spread some love, tackle today, and as always, make the best of what's around.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of their lives living in a gangster's paradise. They've been spending most of their lives living in a gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my tin in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things is going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the one minute, hour after hour. Everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool.